Good morning. Hi, Sean. Hi, Kate. I'm sick. I was like, I'll put on some music so we can feel better. Oh, here she comes. She's a mess eater. Going back to school is always, yeah, it's awful. Hey, Lisa. Hi, Ingrid. I'm so thankful that the kids are doing okay. We had strep. Well, they had strep last week, Thursday, throughout the weekend. We got in really quickly. Good morning, sunshine. And we got in really quickly. Luckily, we got a same day appointment, which doesn't often happen. So they got their amoxicillin. So we caught it like right at the top of it. So they didn't even get all of the ick. Um, I have all of the ick, right? But I wasn't here the other day. And I was like, I didn't want to not show up this morning, but because yesterday I had a live with Kina and Maisha, and we're going to try to do that on Tuesdays, Bonnets and Blackness, and just kind of talking and chatting. Pardon me. Yeah. And today's our live, and I just wanted to hang out. So if you want to just hang out with me, well, I am. And the I can't even sing. But it's a good song. If you want to just hang out with me, I'm writing my article yesterday. I don't enjoy virality online, because it comes with a whole bunch of other stuff, and you have to really have girded up your strength to deal with people who think that they know you off of a 60-second video. Anyhow, yesterday I was intentional about, I posted, oh, I forgot the name of that song. I'll take a look again while I'm here. Hey, hey, hey. So yesterday was PSL day. It's first day of pumpkin spice latte season. If anybody knows me, they know I am like a PSL junkie. I love fall. It's my time. Um, and there's been just like so much going on with Starbucks, funding a genocide, union busting, low wages, a whole bunch of shit, right? So that's been going on last year and this year. And so I've made my own personal decision that I would treat myself to just like two a season. Yesterday, I bought my two. I came home with my pumpkin muffin, cream cheese muffin. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video and I'm going to talk about it. And like, I'm going to be like, the performative stuff, right? So like the video is antagonistic. But it was hoping for, like let's be for real. So the video, and I'm gonna share it in this article that I'm writing about, the video where I'm like, boycotting Starbucks won't save lives. And I go into like land back. And it's very interesting the comments there. It's on Instagram. Um, So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I've been thinking about it since like last night and I woke up like 4 o'clock this morning. People are like, oh, I guess you're not going to respond. I'm like, people sleep. What's happening? Right? Or you just did this for engagement. And I'm like, actually, no, because I never go viral or get a lot of engagement from anything where I'm like, hey guys, let's love each other and build community. Right. So if I wanted engagement, I'd love to figure out how to get those down. Anyway, so my point was, there are ways to do that. And I said, now that I've called you in, let me give you three ways to support, land sovereignty, land back, and to do things, to actually make a difference here. Because it is not that we don't care about other places, right? I'm like searching for the words and through the brain fog and the medication. It is that I find it violent to ignore the genocide happening in this land. I find it violent to ignore the abject poverty that happens in this land. And it's not saying forget them and just deal with here. It's saying, can we take care of ourselves first? Or simultaneously or communally. Can we just not ignore it, right? I think that we all know somewhat that the world loved, but their most intimate partners did not even like, right? The people closest to them didn't. And you have to wonder, what does that mean? Right? So similar, right? Macro, micro, inner world, outer world, think globally, act locally. All of these things pour into us. All of these things are us, right? So when I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, so you boycotted Starbucks, which good job, right? Boycotts work, money matters in a capitalistic society. I would have other options besides just boycotting. I just don't think that harms their bottom line enough specifically, but that's a whole other conversation. But what else are you doing, right? What else are you doing? And very specifically, this video said that I would not be taking on discussions from white-bodied people that had an issue with me having a PSL. Um, because I find that to be like, you can't be serious. Like, you cannot be serious when you just figured out what's happening in Gaza. You just figured out racism 5 years ago. And now, all of a sudden, you're a world activist and you refuse to deal with the fact that you're a settler on this stolen genocidal land and that you are participating in settler colonialism here. But you want me to be taking you seriously, like that you care about something else. More so, the social justice warriors are fucking arguing with me with a watermelon in their fucking profile pic on an iPhone that literally is possible by the genocide in the Congo. And by the way, uh, we're talking almost 20 years ago at a beautiful at Urban Grind Coffee. Darnell Fine. I used to call him my poetry boyfriend. God, fucking brilliant mind. He's an educator. He travels abroad. Just absolutely brilliant. I mean, I love that he was able to teach for so many years and teach kids. But he wrote a poem and delivered it, and it was called Blood on Our Cell Phones. This was 20 fucking years ago. Speaking about the Congo, speaking about, the children in the Congolese mines that are mining the things that make the batteries work, right? On the iPhones. So, which is very much why I'm like, listen, when we're talking liberation work, we have to see where we all participate. There are no fucking saviors. We are saving each other in solidarity. I'm not fucking better than you because I'm sitting here on an iPhone with a fucking MacBook writing a fucking article on stolen fucking land with the privilege of being paid to fucking do it. I can't, I want to fucking cry because I can't fucking take you guys seriously when you're still approaching liberation and colonization work in a hierarchical form. I can't fucking do it. I can't fucking do it that you are better than me because I wanted a fucking PSL, right? Like, so I'm a terrible person or the CIA is paying me. And I'm like, so here's what I've done. I went from a PSL a day person, a day, a day. And when I was disabled and immobile, I would order them, right? So like Instacart those things. And because you have to have like an order of like $20 or more at the time, I would order two at a time. I was easily spending 100 something dollars a week on coffee during PSL season. And I made the conscious choice to say, you know what? I'm just going to go down to two and I'll make the rest at home. Like, that's it. Right. So we got to talk harm reduction. We have to talk empire cycles. We have to talk about how shaming people only leads to apathy, which leads to inaction. So if I were somebody who gave a fuck about what the internet was thinking of me instead of the relationships that I'm building for community, I would be shamed. And more so, my concern is newer activists or newer people to their journeys of liberation, anti-oppression, pardon me, anti-racism, wherever you're at on your healing journey, on your reclamation journey, on your reconnection, you will see things like that, or they will see things like that, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, we're never all gonna do it right. We're not gonna do it fucking right. And if we cannot accept that, if we cannot accept that this has gotten so far ahead of us that we will forever, each and every one of us, be complicit in the harm of another. There's no way to do that. So, Yummy, you're boycotting Starbucks and you're fucking got a watermelon profile pic and you're dead ass arguing with me. And I didn't see shit on your profile about the Congo. I didn't see shit about Sudan, about Ireland, about any land back is global. Genocides are happening here. Where's your conversation at? Can you sometimes when I'm thinking about myself and I think of how people are perceiving me on the internet, and I'm like, fuck, I don't look like I have a quote unquote niche, right? So if you're gonna be doing work on the internet and you plan to get paid, because I don't. I get like $5 a month from Instagram and maybe I make $50 on Facebook. And that's because I post my own life and I'm fucking an unhinged menace. And that's just fun, right? And I make $28,000 a year on Substack. This is not, ain't nobody, I'm very transparent. Ain't nobody out here just like making $10,000 a fucking month posting inflammatory stuff. So, and or. When I'm thinking about how people are perceiving me on the internet and not having a niche, I'm like, I can't niche down because liberation is not a niche. I can't just say Palestine. It is important. I can name a genocide when I see it. I have eyes that are actually seeing, so I can name that. I could also name that anti-Semitism is on a rise and hating Jews are not a new thing. And your language is perpetuating harm against both groups of people because you act as if there are not also Jewish Palestinians and conflating the tyranny of Israel's government with Jewish people is a fucking problem as well. And it's crazy, white people, that when we are condemning white supremacy, you will do every fucking thing to not be conflated with white supremacy, but are using the same language and being harmful to Jewish people, which also includes Palestinians. And I need nuance, not fucking austerity. Okay. And I make liberation as palatable and swallowable as fucking possible. I have very easeful conversations. I am very accessible because I understand that this is confusing, right? Because you hear one thing from somewhere and that's okay. It's gonna be confusing. It's gonna be difficult. You're gonna question. You're gonna fuck up. But we are not in my sphere going to pretend that anyone is doing any fucking better in this hellscape of global colonization. And not for one moment will I ever be chastised by white-bodied people who just fucking figured out racism in 2020, and it took a Black man being murdered for 11 minutes for you to figure that out.
To cook for family dinners, just small lunch essentials.
No way. On this fucking green earth, across any seas and oceans, will I do that until you can literally just sit with the fact that you belong to a group of people that oppress the globe. That you, especially if you're in the United States of America, are a settler living in a colony on top of stolen land. And then sit with the grief of why is it took you so long to realize that, and how far removed you are from your own ancestors' colonization that you can't remember the harm your existence causes. Just existing. That is what supremacy culture did to you as white-bodied people. The decentering, white women understand decentering men all fucking day. White women understand the patriarchy all fucking day, but you never see yourselves as your men. You never see yourselves as your mothers. And I'm like, I don't understand. What are you witnessing? You are not in solidarity. with everyone else while still clinging on to your superiority because you're doing it better than. And then making value assessments. Those comments in my Instagram of value assessments. You know nothing about me. You know absolutely nothing about me. And everything that you're bringing to the table about me is going to be through your lens and your biases. It's that simple. And I don't care. Like, that's what that comes out to. I don't care about that part. But again, as I'm trying to be perceived on the internet, I'm like, this is so interesting. And this is why I enjoy this space of Substack because I get to cultivate something more intimate. I enjoy Facebook because I get to cultivate something more intimate, right? I'm talking with multiple people. They're able to ask me questions, but these other platforms do not allow that space. There's a couple on there. There's somebody I'm going to respond to when I get off of here that it's like, okay, listen, I hear you, this execution, and it's okay if the execution is not loved, right? It's okay. That's fine. And oh, you needed to be justified. Foolish you for thinking that I would need justification. Another person literally said, oh, well, if you were going to cross the picket line, you could have done it in private.
Intel Inside. Learn more at intel.com/USA outing.
Now that there are kids in it, we're going to go to bed hungry tonight. They felt you get changes. This is info for kids.
What? You want people, actually, what people are demanding is performative allyship, performative, liberation, performative care. Again, it is wild to me. And I say this over and over and over again. Like, we're all doing this the very best way that we can. Like, it was just an interesting thing. So right now, I'm writing the article about it to be a companion because, again, I'm not going to argue with people in comments. That's just not where I'm spending my life. I'd rather have deeper, more nuanced conversations. I'd rather pour that into writing and take some NyQuil and go to sleep. Now I'm going to run through these comments. Thank you guys for sitting with me in all of those big moments. And thank you for hearing me. Thank you for listening to yourselves. Thank you for staying here with me on this journey when I know I make you uncomfortable, right? That is beautiful. And I want you to celebrate that you are breaking through a pillar right there, right? That right to comfort. If you are still here with me, you are dismantling that every time you come into the sphere with me, you are dismantling that pillar of right to comfort because I'm not going to make you comfortable. I can love you and universally, and I do, and I can hold that space with you, but I am not going to bullshit you either. So congratulate yourself on that. And what we're witnessing in my comments on the pushback, I have like over 40,000. Nobody ever shares shit that much. I have like 40,000 views or something. It's absurd. Anyway, you're doing a good job. None of us are doing this perfectly, right? And I want you to release shame because what we're witnessing over there is that either or. Either you do this or you are pro-Palestine. I mean, anti-Palestine, right? If you are buying Starbucks, then you are pro the genocide. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm Black in the United States of America, living not even a full hour and a half away from where my family was enslaved.
Field or change profession.
What conversation are you actually having? And where's your depth and range? Anyhow, let me go through these comments here. Oh, everybody's saying morning. I boycotted Starbucks because Amazon is too hard for me right now. Right. And then and I love that, right? I'm not letting go of Amazon. I'm too damn disabled to be letting go of Amazon. And honestly, it just comes so fast, so quick, and it's so poor. And I mean, and it's difficult. So what else can we do, right? So like, what else can we do is like right off the top of my head, the money that you save with Amazon, especially if you're in that financial bracket. Like, let's say that you're paying Prime, match that to some reparations funds, to some land back. Where you have it, building those parallel systems is paramount, right? You saved, you saved $20. Okay, take that $20 and reinvest it into the community. Right. I love that for you. Love that you save $20. If you have that ability, you know what I'm saying? And it's more of a luxury than a need for you, then reinvest into the community. Right. What could you do? What can happen right here locally? I can't believe that people are caring about starving children thousands of miles away and you don't care about the girl down the block that hasn't had lunch, breakfast at dinner. You don't care about the single parent that is on the bus. Go buy a fucking bus pass for somebody. Shut up and do that. Right? Start a fucking carpool. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear how you're so much better because you don't spend $8 on a pumpkin spice latte. I fucking love that for you. I'm going to go spend my $8. What do you want me to tell you? Now, again, what am I willing to do though? Okay, back to harm reduction. Somebody who would have spent maybe $1,000 over the few couple weeks of PSL season, I've opted down to I'm going to go spend $30. And that's it. You know what else I did? I got rid of my Starbucks stock. I will no longer invest in that company in that way. People do things in different ways. And again, what I don't want us to get stuck in is in that either or. Because then, right, then now we're battling because it becomes like the war of the diaspora, the war of oppression. And I'm not into oppression Olympics. I don't want to fucking win top tier oppressed. I don't want to be oppressed. What is happening here? Nah, I don't want to do that. Oh, well, you got a PSL, so you don't care about Palestine. Okay, well, you're on an iPhone, so you don't care about Black people. I mean, twin, where have you been? What conversations are we actually having? Where's accountability? And more important, where's the repair? Where's the restoration? That's what I'm trying to get to. Okay, I bought a pumpkin spice latte. Okay, what's the next step? Like, what are we doing together? Okay. Now I'm a terrible person. So all of my work over the years means nothing because you saw, because remember, the other person said I should have just done it in private and nobody would have known. So I put myself out there with thousands, tens and thousands of followers in a very targeted thing intentionally to engage in actual conversation. But you would have preferred I did it in private. Instead of be able to say, I'm going to take it on. And that me buying that PSL negates all of the years of work. That's either or. That's a binary, right? That is that idea. When people are telling you how to do activism better, that's paternalism. Learn these 15 pillars of supremacy culture, right? Because it believes like, I know what's best. I can't tell you how to activate. I can tell you how to protest. There's so many ways to show up in this world that what I want us to do is move out of shame in the body. Because if we could move out of that, right? Because that apathy leads to inaction and like paralysis. Fuck fatigue. Too many people are in paralysis and there are so many things to do, but that shame pushes that apathy, which pushes it all down. And my goal is to move that on up out so we could get to hope and possibilities. There are infinite amounts of possibilities when you are saying, okay, let's look at the global picture. Right? Cop City is possible in the local town near you because we made it possible for them to put military bases in other people's fucking country. I want you to think about that. Imagine if you went to your local Walmart and next door to that is a fucking Chinese base. I want you to think while you're going to your local mom and pop shop, right? In the neighborhood you gentrified and pushed legacy Black people out of, who were only there because the violence of white supremacy segregated them in there and said, stay. But now it's cool. So you're going to move out, move the liquor store, bring in your brewery, take out the wings, put your $25 burger, and you're going to put your mom and pop fancy brew $13 fucking cup of coffee instead of me just being able to go to the fucking bodega and get a $1.25 cup of coffee. So yeah, right? I can't take you seriously. But anyway, like, when we're thinking about all of those things, there are infinite amounts of possibilities of how can we do this? What does that look like? Right? What's going on with the people? Thinking globally, because Cop City, like I said, that's a military base somewhere else. If you went to that fucking coffee shop that I just described and you saw, the Russian base, how would you feel? Would you feel safe? Do you think that makes people feel safe? A base in another country is literally the United States. The people that the United States of America is fucking occupying with a military base are not even allowed on it in their own land. Are we hearing me? Am I talking to somebody? You are on that base and you are in America. The rules out there don't even matter inside of a United States military base. Like, so many of my family are military. My first husband was an Air Force. Like, it is its own sovereign world. So the United States of America understands sovereignty, but is the biggest barrier to others' sovereignty. But you're going to tell me that I'm a bad person. So I want us to release that shame. That's the intention of those things is like of the video of everything is like, let's be fucking for real about these conversations. Let's be fucking for real. What have we all allowed to happen because it was not impacting us? That has gotten us here. Right? It's not just one thing. It's a slew of agreements over and over and over again, generationally. And we are not new. And we have an ancestral demand on our lives to dismantle this hellscape. And if we can move that out of the body, move the guilt, move the shame, and move into true being and sovereignty within, you open up to those possibilities. Like, I'm going to go knock on my neighbor's door. Matter of fact, in this article, let me text Yolanda. Yolanda has a community workbook. Yolanda Williams of Parenting Decolonized. I'll see if it's actually out for purchase, what have you. If not in this one, it'll come out in another one. But she has like the community workbook on how do you do this right here where you are. Right? Working on that liberation. And you can care about the person next door and Palestine. You could care about Palestine and anti-Semitism. You could care about, the indigenous of Turtle Island and reparations for Black people. Personally, I want their land back. I'll deal with the indigenous because I want my 40 acres and a mule. You know what I'm saying? Like, give these folks their stuff back and let them repair with me. Like, I don't need more than that. Like, give me that and leave me alone. But that's just me. I don't speak for everybody in regard to that. But there's so many ways, and really the truth of it is coming down to, it was just so interesting, those comments, like demanding me to either do it in private, have some shame, or I'm a terrible person. Like those were the options. And I was like, even your oppression is unimaginative. Like imagine trying to shame somebody into something, and even that is unimaginative. I want us to be more imaginative about our liberation. Now I'll go back to these comments. We are, no matter how far. Oh, Rhea says, haven't found any perfection. Keep teaching. Thank you. Ingrid, not all of us have the option. If you live in an area, it's not easy as to get to the store. I'm in the same position. Don't feel bad. Yeah, no, it's not. Oh, just agreeing on mountain in New York, nearest store is 30 minutes away. Yeah. And then it's going to be a Walmart. So again, I think a lot of these pushes come out of city models. And you don't know that I'm like 78% of the United States of America is still rural, farmland style. Like, we're woke in the cities and it's like, and I fucking hate even sound like, I was like, we're woke in the city. And the only reason why we're woke in this city is because of proximity. Right? The suburbs were created by middle-class white people, and it was off of the backs of the fact that the Black GI could not get a GI Bill. He couldn't get his veteran benefits. Literally, that's the only reason why the middle class exists and the suburbs exist. So I'm like, what? So that middle class, liberal, progressive person, moderate, during the 60s and 50s is what they were called, is still the clincher here, right? Because it's not real. It doesn't exist unless the oppression of another exists as well here. So what are we doing? Sorry, it was something I got distracted with. Also, my NyQuil is kicking in, so I'm about to go. Rodney King's words haunt me. Can't we all just get along? Yeah. So that's another thing too, is that I'm old enough and I'm only 46, but I'm old enough to have watched, outrage dissipate. And it's interesting. I'm like, we got to just get deeper. We have to be more involved with each other. We have to be deeper, and we have to become hyper local. On our parenting meeting yesterday, because myself and Yolanda co-host Parenting Decolonized group, and we were talking about that, like, in our we do a connect call every 2 weeks. And we were talking about that, and it was like, that's what it is. It's like, you gotta get hyper local, right? Like, and I'm saying that, and I'm gonna tell you what my hyper local action is going to be today after I wake up, is that I think tomorrow is, um is a delayed start day, like, for our kids, and I'm gonna go into the parent group me and be like, "Hey, if anybody needs to drop their kid off, I'm sick, but they can, like, hang out in the backyard, and I can take them around the corner." Right? They can go in the back of the pickup. I don't care. Literally around the corner. But that could be your get hyper local, right? While still promoting what needs to be done out there, but being more active in here. Tiffany said I had to pull back from a couple liberal Facebook groups. Oh yeah, I don't even exist in them. For the exact thing, people judging and telling others what and where they should do and where to shop. Yeah, I'm like, it's not even taking into account anything, right? My dollar is not your dollar, right? My dollar has to go with how many people are here? One, two, four of us. My dollar has to stretch for those four. Somebody else's dollar is just for them. And I love that for you. Somebody else's is for six other people. It changes, right? None of it is static. So we have to be like, that's what I mean, like become more imaginative, like seeing the infinite possibilities because we are dynamic beings living dynamic lives underneath dynamic oppression. So then there is a dynamic option to liberation as well. Ugh. Simeon says, whenever I come here to hear you speak, you bust my brain. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. Okay, those are the comments. All right, I'm gonna let me get some orange juice because I'm like hella clogged up. Yeah. Mm. And I'm gonna hop off of here in a few minutes. Lord, I can't even get up. I can't believe they gave me their cooties. But yeah, I'm going to be writing about it. Read today's article. I'm also not putting a paywall on the article just so it could be shared and that's not a barrier because we have to talk about those dynamic options for liberation, for the work, and releasing the shame. Because you guys, I promise you, if you feel ashamed about every single thing that you do, you're not going to be taken serious. Nobody can, right? Like I said, I can't. This lady, ma'am, where are you arguing from me? From the gentrified neighborhood on your Congolese blood-filled iPhone? It can't be. We have got to release that and say, you know what? Together, we are definitely stronger. What can we do? Hyper locally, whilst still crippling, right? The global empire of the United States of America. You can't turn around and tell me that just boycotting these corporations whilst still voting in your PTA, where you redistrict schools, or moving into places with HOAs that are historically racist, or buying land from a fucking defunct corporation that stole it from a people. Okay? See how it'll just keep us attacking each other. Doesn't bring any liberation. All right, I'm going to jump off of here, let this NyQuil do its work, try to finish this article before it does, and rest my sick body. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing yourselves to be challenged by me. And thank you for allowing me to challenge you. Right? Like, that's consent, enthusiastic. All right. I love you guys. Tiffany says, thanks for today, Des. Please rest and feel better. Damien says, take care of yourself and get your rest. I surely am going to do that. And thank you guys. And thank you for the grace of that, right? Like, I know you're like, damn, girl, you were going. You said you were coming back and like you've been here once. So here I am. But I will be posting. You guys read it. And, and just think about that. What's something that you could do hyper local that's one, going to be sustainable and that you have the capacity for? right? You know, I seen a couple of people were talking about Instacart and like Amazon. Okay, if you go to the grocery store, I want you to turn around and go to your neighbors that you've noticed may not have a car. Right? Accessibility is more than just a disability. Go to your neighbor that may not have a car. Go to your neighbor that may be elderly. Go to your neighbor that has multiple kids because don't nobody want to go to the store half broke with full kids. You know what I'm saying? Because they want everything. You don't want to keep telling your people no. Go there and then turn around and say, I'm going to do a grocery run once a week. Would you like to be on this list? That is liberation work, right? That. That's possible for you. You don't like Amazon delivery, you become the delivery. And not in a challenging, like, well, you don't. No, but lessen what you're trying. That's the parallel system that I'm talking about, right? That's the divestment. When you divest, and this whole month was about the business of America. When you divest from an investment, you don't close it out. You turn around and you say, okay, I'm gonna pull out of Amazon, right? So I'm gonna pull out. Ooh, there's a gain. Okay, I'm gonna pull out 500 from Amazon, and I'm gonna reallocate that fund into this. Right. And little by little, you're pulling away. You're no longer putting money back into that investment and whatever substitute money, XYZ, capital, labor, etc. I'm not going to put anything into it, but it is impossible to just pull it all out. You can't just cash out. That you just can't cash out. Okay, so then what? You know, how do I build that? So you don't like Amazon, you don't like that, that's fine. If you could turn around, you know what? Okay, hey guys, if you could, everybody got $10, I'll get a Costco membership, you know what I'm saying? And I could do this shopping once a week. You could pay with 5 different cards at Costco, or you could pick it up. They could turn around and put it on Instacart and put pickup. There's a lot of different ways. Just get hyperlocal, guys. There's so many ways to do this, and it has to be sustainable. You have to have the capacity for it because it's generational work. And if we keep thinking that we're going to make these world changes in a day, in one generation, we're going to burn out from that idea, right? We're going to become apathetic because it's like nothing's really changing, but so much is changing. And the more you can do this hyper locally, the more you will realize it. If your life is existing like that, it gives you more hope. Like, oh, if it was possible for me, it's possible for others. How do we do that work collectively to do that? All right, that's it for real now. Love you. Bye. Lisa says, see you soon. Thank you for the healing energies I received. I'm going night night. Bye.